Hello and welcome to replay analysis. Once again, I have Caitylyn today. As you can see here, there's not a huge amount that goes on in terms of events, goals or saves, but you'll see why later on as we go through it. Caitylyn is a prospect player, not played that many hours, so mechanically I don't want to go through this because you'll see that later on with the replay. But mechanically, she's not going to be at the level that the other people I analyse are, but there's a lot of stuff that she does well and stuff that we can improve for the future. So without further ado, let's go into it. So kickoff wise, perfect. Going back to that goal line like that, very well done. Going to get the boost, it was there, it was just a graphical glitch. So everything you've done so far is really good. Giving your teammates some space, probably don't need to go that far back. You do retreat quite a lot in this replay where you probably don't need to. Here, your teammate's going to get it. Just trust in them. You can always turn back later. And this here, great little pass from your teammate. I don't know what happened there in terms of the shot. And God knows what happened there for both of you. But that should have been a goal. And that all just came from you giving your teammate space and letting them go for it. There, at your level with aerials, when the ball's above you, I see how you use skid there to turn on the ball. Very well done. But at your level, turning on the ball really fast is incredibly tough to do. So what I recommend is when it's close quarters like that, and you know your teammate's there as well, get away from it and give the situation some space. Obviously it's hard for me to say because you probably felt like you could get that, so fair play. Anyway, again, very deep here. You do push up eventually. You don't need to worry about going so deep. You're quite safe. And here, you know your teammate's gone back because of the bump. You had every right to go forward. Just try and watch your opposition a little bit more to see where they're going, as that allows you to kind of determine where they might hit it. Here you wait off passively quite nicely, wait for them to miss that shot, and then it gives you a chance to go in. Now, what you're about to do here, hit it hard. Nice idea to try and pop it into your teammate. But one thing I would encourage you to do is try and have different levels of power. So throughout this whole replay, I noticed that you either hit it or you don't. It's very binary. You hit it hard or you just don't hit it at all. Try and get used to just like tapping it into the middle. So if you just tap that towards the goal a bit. So if we just go here. So at this point here, you could have either hit it. One place I would say if you were going to hit it hard, I'm going to do a little bit of aerial view here. So you can see they're not quite back in the goal yet. So let's get the pen up. So if you're going to hit it hard, the ball's going to be about here by the time you hit it. Hit it into the corner and it will bounce straight across into the net area. Admittedly, that'll mean their goalie might get back in time, but that's going to go into the middle hard and be nice for your teammate to hit. Their positioning is appalling. They should either be here facing that way, or they should be here facing this way. You're going to get bad teammates when you play. Remember that. The other thing I'd say is if you hit it lightly in this direction, then you might be able to drive through and follow it up and hit it yourself. Something you can think about, because of the fact you flip into it, I think you're going to have to send that round the corner like this. Your hit you did do actually would be pretty good, but at your level people aren't going to be able to read those very well because they're not good enough players. So what you might have something to do is hit it lightly where you can then follow it up. Whether that's hard around the wall so you can follow it up down here, because by the time it bounces off the wall you can get there, or hit it lightly. What you did in the end was really good, but just a few options for you to consider. And one of those options was to hit the ball with less power, as it will give you a better option in the end. Because if you hit it hard off that back wall, your teammate misses it, that ball is then going to be bouncing back towards your own goal. If any of these players drive onto it, then they should be able to. It should be easier for them to score it than your teammate at points. At a higher level, I'd recommend using that back wall hit sometimes. Anyway, if that makes sense, hopefully it does. So you bounce it off that side wall, your teammate's got no chance, but if you'd hit that lighter, with a bit more control, you saw there how close you were to hitting that again. Look here. Look how close you were to hitting that again. If you hadn't flipped into that, you could have potentially scored that yourself. Which is still, it would have been a tough shot, but it just means you've got more availability for that. Anyway, let's I need to put that. Let's get back onto this. No. Okay. Moving on swiftly. You kind of get what I mean by that. Just generally hitting it hard off of that wall can be dangerous because it sets your teammates, sets your opposition up. But here you're just waiting off for the reactive play. Right there, your teammate should not have done that. But one thing you can do, because obviously you see, you're waiting for the ball to pop out to a point where you can get it. To be honest, you can't read that. Your players just hit that when they shouldn't have done. I would just say if you ever see anyone on the pitch, especially your teammate near it, then avoid it is a good idea. I should have how your opposition didn't score here. So you filter in behind, waiting for your teammate to get it. At this point, what I would suggest, because you see here, because you're so close to the front post, right? So you see here, you're near front post. Your teammate is covering front post. They should get this ball if they're going to get it. So they push in. Sakara does a very good shot here. Touched it off the wall, which means your teammate gets taken out of it. That's fair enough. Had you been a few car distances back, so closer to the back post, you could then have accelerated towards that ball and got the clear. Admittedly, then Napatu could have theoretically got it near post, but you've got a better opportunity to go forward from the back post than if you move forward from the front post, because it's quite hard to read the ball there. So just consider that when your teammates at the front post moving back a little bit more. Here we've spoken about drifting in Gregan Teacher's Rocket League, you know about that. So use that to go get boost. Here, very well played by you to move up to that ball. You push it round the side there, which, like I said earlier on, that works very nicely for shots. Your teammate should have scored that, but your opposition did well to save it. But you're creating opportunities for your teammate to score. Now, right here, you back off. I personally, at this point, and let's just look back at previous. So you pick up this boost here. You've used a little bit of it. You've regained some more boost. If I were you, I would use some boost to get away from the situation here. What after this point here? So you do. You're using it nicely here and use the flips. You're actually very good at keeping hold of your boost. Don't be scared to boost more. And I know that means you're going faster, which might mean you're not got as much control. But at this point here, as soon as that ball bobs out, you kind of move towards it. You see your teammates going there. Boost towards mid boost. And then take that. And then you've got 100 boost again. But then you've also got speed, which can be very useful. But you did everything fairly well here to keep track of this. And you just waited for your opportunity to score. But just imagine this whole situation. So we'll just pause it at this point here. Okay, we're going to go into fly mode. So you would have driven over here, got this boost, you have 100 boost. You would have then rotated back into about here with 100 boost. Maybe a little bit less because you boosted away, then you pick up this one, you get a little bit more. Okay, so you've got a lot of boost, which you already had anyway, but you're now deeper. This ball is going to move around the wall just like this, and it's going to bobble down, it's going to do various stuff, it's going to probably get challenged a bit here, but you're tracking around this point here. Because of the fact you tracked at this point here, it meant you had to do very quick reactive shooting, which is tough to do. You never quite know when to do it. Whereas because of the fact you're moving in the midfield here, doesn't require much to accelerate towards the ball, in towards to go get the ball, and it means that you've got speed, boost, and a better angle at shooting. But as the situation actually occurred, you stay quite close to the play, like this. Means you have to wait, see what happens, and you end up doing the exact same thing anyway. But it would have been a lot safer if you'd gone back via the boost. Okay, I'm going to go from the air for a bit, just to see your positioning. So you see here, you're still very deep. You do go get the boost. You can be quicker to go get the boost, but there's no rush really. You do move up. This is good position to wait on the sideline here. As soon as you see that dunk, you do go in on it. Very nicely done. That was a good little pass there you did, and a very good save. But To be honest, this whole play is really good by you. You're just quick to react to things, you're getting up above people. That's very well played. This point here, you're quite slow to react to leaving, which is fine. Everything's going to be a little bit slower for you until you learn how to read the play a lot quicker. But that whole situation, you were covering back nicely. Your teammate somehow managed to score with a little bit of a pinch. They're fluky, but you covered back, which made sure you didn't let a goal in, which is very important. So keep doing what you're doing with that deep play. It will become more and more useful, and you'll get used to moving up. And I don't know if that was something I told you early on when I said, because I remember teaching you quite early days, and one of the things I said was to play very deep. Now right here, how did this ball get past the both of you? You both went for kickoff, which is instantly a no-no. You kind of filter out towards the back and then back in towards the boost, which actually would have been alright in the end. I personally would have gone to the boost first, because you haven't got any boost, and that's your first priority, is that ball's rolling towards the net, because you want your opportunity to arise once they've hit it, because it would have been a very tough opportunity had you gone originally. As soon as you get that boost, you filter out back round, leave Matt in the middle to go for it, and then it means you would have been behind the ball when they got away with it. Thankfully your teammate didn't hit it there, and you get a good save, clearing it nice and long, and you follow this up well. And good reactions to the play. I saw you were trying to drive around them. Remember your opponents, you can actually go through them. Something to think about. Don't worry too much about where your opposition are in terms of they're not a huge object in the way. You can still kind of go very close to them. Probably could have gone up to that one, but you're very passive knowing that you're the last person back, so that's fine. I don't mind that. Right here, you could have pushed on that a little bit earlier because you knew your teammate was filtering in, which would have meant you wouldn't have been so on the back foot when that situation arose. Your teammate should have gone out a lot earlier than that, but there was a little bit of hesitation. So you'll notice here how you kind of left-righting it a bit, kind of like don't know which way to go. If you want to give the clue that you're not going to go for it, at this point, here, dart to boost. Go either of those back boosts and it gives your teammate all of the space in the world, but because they don't really know where you're going and because you're still technically closer to the ball, you'll fake them out a bit. Whereas if you just literally dart away to the boost, makes it very obvious and it allows you just to reset yourself and know that you've got boost. Whereas because you go back into your net, you tell them late, you'd probably be in the same situation right now if you'd gone to boost, but you'd have boost with you. So that's something to think about. Rather than clearing out to the net, in those situations when your teammate is in the net, go to the boost instead. It's a good play, just waiting for the opportunity to arise. I like how you're edging to go forward, going backwards and forwards. It just shows how much you want to move out and go get the ball. You did go via the boost there, which was good. Make sure you keep ticking over on the 100 boost. Again, if you'd gone wide round the boost yourself, it would have shown them to go across. But because you cut across in front of your teammate, it kind of gave them an indication that you did want to go for it. Because they couldn't read that at all. If you'd just gone back via that back corner boost, filtered into the near post there, then they would have moved out on it. Potentially. I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's a very good indicator of you going back to net, going for boost, and then back towards the net. Here you did really well. Again, it's the same situation as we drew out earlier on. You have a bit of time, you don't need to hit it straight away. And because you hit it off that back ball, it means it's bouncing back towards your own net. And if they didn't manage to get that touch, which is very tough for them because they have to read it well, then it would be dangerous towards your own side. Those kind of things at a higher level are fine because your teammates should be able to score them. But at a lower level, if you create a passing play which forces your teammate to get it, otherwise it's going to bounce towards your own net, then it means they've either got to score it, hit it or whatever, or it's detrimental to you. And if they miss it, or if your opposition gets a good defensive clear on it, then you're both up and on the back foot. One of the things in doubles you very rarely want to do at a higher level is create an aerial shooting opportunity. At your level, those kind of bounce off the sidewall are equivalent, so you've got to be very careful not to pass it off the sidewall too frequently, as it makes it quite tough. Another really good pass into the middle. That one you went around the corner, which made it a little bit easier. They still messed it up, but it's fine. You're creating opportunities. Eventually they will score. If they don't, then at least you're covering net. That's the most important thing. There, you could have gone for that. Again, you're being nice and passive, which I don't mind, but just be a little bit more aggressive. Try out going for the ball a bit, but just make sure when your teammate is clearly meant to be going for it, let them go for it and keep doing your passive defense, because that's really good. So my main thing to take away from this, you're really good in defense. You're staying nice and deep, which is making sure you could potentially move up a little bit more, but if you feel comfortable going deep, then keep doing that. But what I would say is if you want to progress as a player and get to higher levels, you need to start making sure you score as a team, because you're making sure you're not letting in goals. You will eventually let in accidental goals. I don't think there was any point during that I felt like your team was going to let in a goal. Really, there might have been a few close shaves, but you definitely always looked on the front foot. So keep doing that, but try and get used to making plays yourself. So those little light touches to yourself, rather than hitting it hard towards the net so that your teammate has to hit it, try and encourage yourself to get better at making opportunities for yourself, if that makes sense. The other thing I'd say is get used to not hitting the ball hard every time. It does require a lot of skill to start touching the ball after you've just touched it, because it means you have to be good at recovering and then reading the bounce of the ball. But hitting it hard every time isn't the only way, so think about that as well. And yeah, try not to fall back when your teammate is clearly going to fall back. So there was a couple of times where you were both sitting in net because you were both being super passive. I'd rather you were passive than aggressive, because it makes sure that you don't let goals in. But there are certain situations where you can push out and your teammate has let you push out. Don't let those go away, because they're your opportunities to get better at creating offensive opportunities for yourself. I think that's pretty much it. Thank you again, Caitylyn, for both the replay analysis and Gregan Teaches Rocket League episode. I don't know which way around they're going to be at the moment, but they will both be going out on the channel. I hope you enjoyed them both as viewers, and if you want to be involved in my replay analysis videos, pop into my stream. I'll pick random people during my streams, the kind of people who stick around a lot, who I want to give back to, who've been super kind, potentially people who've donated as well, as I want it to be a way of giving back to the community. So thanks for watching, and all comments are much appreciated. Bye-bye.